What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of It Came From Craigslist. This is the show where we find the nuggiest and weirdest and unsavory motorcycles on the internet, powered by our good folks over on Patreon. Today we'll be looking at Boston, Massachusetts. East Coast city, one of the oldest cities in the United States. We'll see what they got going on over there, if they've got any Boston chowder. Is that what y'all sound like? Something like that? Just made myself sound super Texas. Is that what y'all sound like over there? Pardon the energy here today. It is 8:13 a.m. right now when I'm filming this, and apparently I need a few hours to acclimate and become my true Yammie self. Before we get started though, be sure to subscribe. Check out the link below to our Patreon to learn how you can sign up and get started and help us find these bikes, and how you can win a brand new Yamaha YSR R3 or a Suzuki SV650. Without further ado, let's check these bikes. All right, so first up, you already know what it is. We gotta hit you with this mobility scooter, baby. This is a classic It Came From Craigslist find. You can see here, this is a Go-Go Traveler for 300 screaming American dollars. I quite love finding these mobility scooters. They are very, very good. I love the second photo here where it looks like the dude was taking the picture and then he just like tripped and then took another one. He's like, F it, I'm gonna upload it anyway, screw it. And then he's got it folded up in the back seat of a car, which is actually kind of cool. I've never seen that before, one that you can just dismount and load up in the car. Pull up in the whip of my mobility scooter. It says new batteries, look and runs like new. You can take it apart. No, you take it apart so you can put it in your truck. He's saying, you take it apart, I'm not taking it apart, you put it in the trunk. I love finding mobility scooters on Craigslist. I love that like every single Craigslist I've ever looked at has at least one of these. So it's kind of funny seeing like everyone have the same idea to put these on the motorcycle section. I mean, I don't really know where else they would go, I guess, right? Like this has more than two wheels, so I don't really know. We're gonna chop this one up with a 6 out of 10 because it's a good price, but it's looking a little ratty, looking like a little bit of grandma's crumbs were left over here. So I can't in good conscience give it a higher score than that. Moving on. Now this next one, it has to be one of my favorite bikes that I've seen on Craigslist. This is a 1997 Honda 600 Shadow Trike VLX motorcycle trike. Now, this is, of course, as you've seen this series, trike boys, much like Busa boys, they are a whole other breed of motorcyclist, whole other kind of human that operates these things. But I want you to tell me if you can notice something special about this trike over here. What do you see here? What do you see going on here? Do you see any drive shafts attached to these wheels? Do you see any form of power going to these wheels? That's because there's not. This is literally, in the truest sense of the word, a motorcycle trike. This is literally just a motorcycle with training wheels. I don't know why this exists. I don't know why someone made this. I guess like, this is a great like practice bike if you have someone who's just like really, really afraid of dropping their bike. And you just want to teach them how to operate the clutch and the throttle and you don't want them to learn how to balance. I guess you could use this. So let's see what he says, or she. This is a 1997 Honda Shadow 600 trike, blah, 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 great condition. Features a 4-stroke V2 engine, 5-speed transmission, electric start, and so much more. Get cruising down the road today, $30 on $100. Financing and shipping available. You're offering financing for a $3,900 20-year-old bike? What in the sweet hell? What? That's really, really strange. And then they have just all the different specifications about this particular bike. I don't know why maybe this is like a dealership or something, because now we've got all kinds of abominations here at the end. What the hell's going on here? You have golf carts that look like 57 Bel Airs with cheap AutoZone wheels. This trike is really something, dude. I gotta give this an 8 out of 10 just because like I've never seen a motorcycle with actual welded on trike wheels. That's really funny. So let's move on. Now this one's a gem. This is a Suzuki Gixxer 600, a beautiful bike with lots of extras for $4 grand in Peabody, which I assume is something near Boston. It's a 2004 Gixxer 600, but the engine is a Gixxer 750, so you have a little bit of an engine swap here. And, you know, the elephant in the room, obviously, is this gorgeous, faded, flower pink paint job. This is for that special someone in your life that you really truly despise and you don't want them to own nice things. You can get this for them for the low price of $4 grand. I do really appreciate that they put the paint chips close up on here so you know what you're getting. That's actually a really nice touch. So honestly, I think as goofy as this thing looks, it's actually pretty clean. If you look at everything else on the bike, the chrome wheels are kind of strange, but you start looking at the frame, the engine, everything else, it's decently clean. The chain looks new-ish. So honestly, even though it's really ugly and pink and flowery, you can fix that with a rattle can paint job if you really wanted to. This would make a great track bike, honestly. For $4 grand, you get a Gixxer 750, basically, that you can just rip on and have a good time with. This person says, custom paint with pearls and flower paint, chrome wheels, powder coated front end and pegs, gel seat for that extra comfort, voodoo exhaust, fully serviced, blah, blah, blah. A bike listed at $4,500, reduced to $39.99 to sell quicker. The custom work alone costs more than the price tag. Well, it depends on how much I value your time at, right? I'm gonna imagine in my mind's eye that this is a track bike and we're gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Moving on. Now this is a gem. Total gem, absolute peach of a Craigslist find, really clean. This is a 2001 Triumph Speed Triple 955 for $3,500. Let's take a close look at this bad boy. Look how clean this thing is. Now you guys, I know what you're saying, this dude's a Triumph, you know, die hard, he's a Triumph day oneer, like he loves the bikes, but come on guys, look how clean this Speed Triple is. This is an early gen Speed Triple, not the first gen I think, but might be the first gen. Basically, this was a naked version of the Daytona 955 that we featured in another video. And this one is just about one of the cleanest Speed Triples, OG Speed Triples that I've seen. These bikes are super fun to ride, tons of torque. This is super clean. I love looking at this thing, man. The exhausts are all clean, clean spec, good chain, good body work, everything on it just looks great. Looks like it was really taken care of, you know? I wonder why this person's selling it. Okay, let's see. Second owner, both adult owners, garage kept, never dropped or crashed, extremely clean example of a Speed Triple with low mileage for nearly 20-year-old bike. You will not find another 955 this nice on Craigslist, I totally agree. Upgrades include Triumph high mount carbon fiber exhaust, your own brake fluid reservoir, custom painted rear seat cowl, fresh oil and filter, blah, blah, blah. Price is firm, $3,500. This is absolutely not a must sell for me. You would be also very hard pressed to find a second generation Speed Triple this nice on Craigslist. So it is a second gen, not a first gen. I apologize, didn't get that right. This is pretty sweet, man. This is a really sweet bike. For $3,500, that's loads of fun for the money. Are you kidding me? This one's gonna get a 9 out of 10 for me. I really think it's pretty sweet. So moving on. Now, it wouldn't be complete, would it, without some custom Hayabusa action. We got a $12,000 custom Busa here for you. It's a 2012 with extremely low miles, a 240 wide tire, voodoo exhaust, and rear airlift. You know what's funny is some of the terminology that Busa boys use for their bikes kind of sound like Cruiser Bro terminology. I would love to do a study because I think that Cruiser Bros and Busa Bros exist in a little slim Venn diagram, honestly, with their voodoo exhaust and their 240 tires and their rear airlift, like all this stuff, you know? All things considered though, this is a clean Busa. I will say, Busa boys, as weird as your bikes are, they are clean. You guys do a good job about it. What the hell is going on with this triple tree? Is it like stitched chrome? What the sweet hell is that? What the fuck, dude? I kind of like this like vintage retro paint scheme it's got going on with it. Not a huge fan of the red, white, and blue colorway here. People telling me that I'm not patriotic. I think the swing arm is slightly extended if I'm not mistaken. Boy, these numbers, this whole situation here, this kind of looks like the Mighty Car Mod's two sexy sex spec dials and gauges here. If it was leather wrapped, it would be just the full sex spec edition. I think that's why I have a bit of an aversion to these old school Busas, is because like so many of them never made it into the modern era and got stuck in that early 2000s sex spec type of thing. This one's not so bad, but some of the other ones I've seen are really bad. Yeah, this is an interesting Busa, man. I love that we found a Busa on the Boston Craigslist. This is really great. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10, and we're gonna move on. Now this one is really cool. This one is really, really cool. This is a Yamaha YSR 50. If you don't know anything about these bikes, this was actually a bike that Yamaha made. This is a mini 50cc little pocket bike racer things. These kinds of things would be great for a mini GP race. Plenty of guys do that kind of stuff. This thing is super cool. So you might look at this thing and think that it's like some custom job that someone did, like they made this thing out of like some other little pocket bike, but Yamaha actually made these. Yamaha really did manufacture and produce these little YSRs, which is really cool. I think these bikes are really, really interesting. This one's super clean. You really don't see these things that often, honestly. So $3,500 is kind of steep, but I get it. It's a classic. It's pretty rare. You know, I could maybe forgive that. This is first year, 1987, Yamaha YSR 50 in great condition, runs awesome, new tires, clean title. Yeah, I don't know if I would pay $3,500 for it. I would probably be willing to pay like 25, maybe like 27 for it, which is a lot for a 50cc little toy, pretty much. But boy, it's cool. It's so cool. I would, yeah. You show up to a mini GP race on one of these, everyone's gonna be like, what is that, you know? This one's gonna get an 8 out of 10 for me, and let's keep it moving. And now we enter the world of the Wretched once again. This is a 1982 Honda CB450, apparently, that has just been, it's just been molested beyond recognition. Good God, dude. I forget what this style of bike is called, but I've seen other bikes that look like this. This person has it listed for $123,456. Obviously just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the price and just tried to make it as expensive as possible, I guess. Not really sure why. Maybe they were forced to put it up for sale. I don't know. But the glow tape on it and oh my God, dude, this is really something. Yeah, I wish I remember what style of bike this was called. It's sort of like it's sort of like a stretched bobber in a way because the seat's super low, it's got the hard tail on it, but it's a CB450. Why did you do this to a 450? That chain and that swing arm situation is very precarious. I'm surprised there's not a listing here talking about how fully custom it is. I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 10. This is a wretched little bike and we're gonna keep it moving. I think Facebook Marketplace gifts us the most ratty, weirdest bikes, honestly. I've found that Facebook Marketplace just gives you the strangest stuff. So this is obviously a super, like, stunted out, CBR F4i. These F4is are really popular to turn into stunt bikes because they're basically bulletproof. They're not as crazy high spec as the CBR 600 RR engines. They're a little more torque based, so people will usually pick these up and just go nuts with them. Yeah, I mean, this is just a ratty stunt bike, so you kind of know what you're getting. I don't really, I guess this little bar at the end here must be for some stunt related thing. I don't know too much about stunt riding, so don't jump down my throat, but I assume that this little green bar back here, it's probably a wheelie bar, I assume, like to when you crack the Nooners, you scrape it, you don't flip over or something like that. I know the cage is for that. I'm surprised the gas tank isn't like smushed like a lot of other stunt bikes I've seen. But for $2,200, if it runs and you need a stunt bike, you could probably talk them down to like $1,800, something like that. So I think it's okay. For what it is, I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10. For me personally, this is like a 1 out of 10, but moving on. So this listing I thought was really interesting. This just says, time to ride the Legend R1, $6,500. This is apparently a 2002 R1 that's for sale with only 1,335 original miles on it. So this is almost like a collector's piece at this point. If you're into this, I don't think this is the first generation R1. This is the second generation with the scoops in it, yeah. Because I think the first ones came out in like 98, and then in 2001 or 2 they changed it. So I think this is a second gen R1, but it doesn't have the cross plane crank. So it doesn't have the cool, burbly, big bang sound from the ones later on from like the 2008 on R1s where they changed it. So this just has the classic 4-cylinder sound. Still a great bike, a really raw 1000cc bike from the early 2000s. So pretty cool to see something like this on Craigslist, honestly. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10, and moving on. Now again, one hand gives, one hand takes. We have this wretched little 1955 Cushman Eagle motor scooter. Doesn't have a price on it. This dude just says he's gonna consider reasonable offers. For this, my man, I will give you 30 bucks. I will give you $30 for this thing. Because it looks like if I sit on it, I'm gonna catch diseases. I will definitely catch some diseases by sitting on this wretched little moped. So it says 1955 Cushman Eagle motor scooter, kickstart, just out of long-term storage. Yeah, no shit. No fuel in the tank, motor turns and kicks over with compression and spark. I am sure it will run. Oh, so you're just selling me this like weird old scooter that you don't really know if it runs or not. It's a great piece of scooter history. If you know what this is and you're reading this ad, you know what these are worth. Like $100, dude. I don't really, I don't really care. Maybe I don't know much about the scooter market, but I'm gonna give this thing a 3 out of 10 for looking like it's giving me eye cancer by looking at it. So moving on. Our next bike is this 1968 Triumph Tiger 500cc for $7,300. That's like approaching brand new Bonneville money. Like for like 85, you can get a Bonneville. And this thing is super clean, I'll give it to this guy, but for $7,300, that's really, really pricey for a bike that's probably not gonna run very well. It is cool though how Triumph has pretty much made these look exactly the same for all these years. So even like, this is what I tell people, like they're looking at like retro bikes for like the cool points. Dude, just buy like a Neo Retro and that thing will run like, you know, all the time, and you're never gonna have to like mess with the carbs and do all that other stuff. And you're gonna have like 95% of the look. So I don't really see the drawback in getting a Neo Retro if you're gonna be like a retro cafe stylish rider. Unless you're super devoted to the cause and you really want one of these older bikes, do it. I'm not one to tell you how to run your life, but I think it's just a better option to get the Neo Retro ones. But this thing is really, really clean. Let's see what this guy says. 1968 Triumph Tiger, all original collector's bike with matching numbers. That's it. Pretty cool. I think it's a little overpriced, so I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 for being a little overpriced. Moving on. Now this mini bike is really weird. This mini bike is super, super strange, but super, super clean. So kind of messing with my mind a little bit here. If we take a look, all custom job apparently, got a little brake caliper in the front, which is cool. Looks like this guy runs a little website, which is cool, gopowersports.com. Go and check them out if you want your little mini bike needs. This thing is kind of interesting. Got a dual shock setup in the rear, looking clean. Got the air filter on the side. Got a 202cc engine on it apparently. Let's read a little bit more about this. I rebuilt this thing myself. Basically everything is brand new or refurbished. Frame is fully painted, has brand new Predator 212, clutch chain, air filter, header pipe, new tube, blah, blah, blah. Open to trades. Looking for a pit bike or dirt bike that needs work. This is pretty cool, man. For $750, I mean, just throw it out there, get this thing. It looks kind of fun. I really believe that like if you're in the market for these kind of older ratty bikes and stuff like that, I mean, under $1,000, you just have like a little toy you can play around with. I wouldn't really consider anything under $1,000 like a proper motorcycle or anything you could really take on the street. You could probably pick up something like that, but you're probably not looking at stuff like that. So this thing is really cool. It's in clean spec, so I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10, and we're feeling very generous today apparently, and we're gonna move on. And we've saved one of the best for last. This is a 2011 Yamaha R1 for 15,000 American dollars. Yeah, this is like if a Busa boy got his hands on the wrong bike and he's like, you know what? I'ma make it into a Busa anyways, man. I'ma make the Busa out of my dreams, out of an R1. Yeah, dude. I mean, if it's what you're into, sure. But Jesus Christ, this thing is hideous for me personally. It's really not doing it for me, I gotta say. I love this low-res picture of this R1. What I don't understand is people who do this to like proper sport bikes. Like this is a 3rd gen R1 with the little round eyes and the cross-plane crank. Like these bikes are awesome, and it's like a shame to see them like this because now you've reduced a lot of the riding potential that it has, and you've basically just made it into a straight line missile, which there's better bikes for that than an R1, you know? So let's see what he says, or she. Says 2011, says 2011 Yamaha R1 just rolled 8,300 miles, custom wheels, swing arm, spike kit. Spike kit? What the hell is that? Is that like the spikes on the spokes? Oh God, it's all chromed. Blah, 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 white pearl paint, carbon fiber accents, Brock's exhaust, blah, 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 clean title in hand, cash only, do not need to sell, only selling to buy a new Road Glide. See, this is what I'm telling you, man. A Road Glide, there's an intersection between these weird sport bike mods and chopper dudes. I'm telling you, this is where we align somehow. Honest to God, this is how it works. Yeah, this R1's really, really something else. A huge rear tire on it. If you're into this sort of thing, cool. But otherwise, in my opinion, don't do this to an R1, guys. Come on, don't do this to an R1, please. Please save the R1s, save the cross planes, even though Yamaha made like a billion of them. Okay, guys, that's gonna do it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Next week, we will be doing a top 10 best bikes I've found on Craigslist, because I will be traveling next weekend and won't be able to source one of these videos for you guys. But I appreciate your support. I appreciate you watching. We are now doing daily uploads, by the way, which is pretty crazy, but there's literally a new video here on Yammie Noob every single day. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, stay notified. And if you're not notified, just come back every day, because there's gonna be something new for you to check out. I'll catch you guys next time. See you later.